Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
We have elections in 5 states coming up and the big general election. We also have been seeing complaints by political parties about discrepancies in voter lists. We're talking about discrepancies in VVPATs and EVM machines as well. To answer all those queries, with us today is the Chief Election Commissioner of India, Mr. Prakash Rawat. Mr. Rawat, thank you very much for speaking to CNBC TV 18.
Thank you.
Elections in 4 states coming up, 5 to be precise, with the addition of Telangana. How prepared is the Election Commission?
Election Commission starts preparing much more in advance. In fact, for Lok Sabha, we started our preparations in February 2018. And for these poll-going states, we started in July. Therefore, preparedness level in all the 4 states is quite satisfactory. Commission itself had gone, visited, reviewed with the district magistrates and SPs, and we are happy that preparation is quite satisfactory.
Is Telangana likely to be clubbed with these 4 states?
That our official team had visited Telangana, reviewed the preparedness level, and they have to present it to the Commission. As soon as this presentation is made, we will take a view.
So you're not ruling it out at this point?
No, not ruling out.
Talking about discrepancies in voter lists, sir.
Yeah.
The Congress party recently held a press conference saying that there are 70 lakh discrepancies in the Telangana voter list, 30 lakh duplications as well. How do you respond to an allegation like this?
Actually, electoral roll, everybody should understand, is a fluid document. It continues to be updated regularly. Every 1st January is the date of eligibility for new voters who attain the age of 18 years. So that time, summary revision takes place every year. And wherever the poll is planned, like these 5 states, special summary revision is conducted just before the poll. So, special summary revision for 4 states is going to conclude on 27 September, and for Telangana it will conclude on 8th of October. Because of this, lakhs of forms come for new enrollment, lakhs of forms come for deletion, for shifting, for dead voters. All those things come to the EROs. And they take decision in a judicial manner.
So you're saying that the political parties, especially the Congress, if they're raising this question about discrepancy, they are raising questions about a procedure which is already on and is not yet complete.
Yes, that is the thing. Everybody should understand that these forms are coming. Those duplicates have been traced by deduplication software or through these applications, and the process of verification and removing those duplicates is continuing.
It's not that you're unaware of it.
No.
Right. You know, not just Telangana, sir. In Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, the Congress party, other political players are raising questions about massive discrepancies. In fact, Mr. Kamalnath has said that according to surveys conducted at his own cost, there are about 60 lakh duplicate voters in the voter list. So how do you see this?
In Madhya Pradesh, there was, to be precise, 68 lakhs duplicates. But you know, when you apply more parameters, like first you have name, you will have 68 lakhs. When you put age, it will come down to 30 lakhs. When you put father's name or husband's name, it will further come down. Because in our country, names are very few. So if you put Ram Bharose, you will find there are 80,000 Ram Bharoses in the country. And that is where the duplicates come. Deduplication software is a mechanical thing. It doesn't recognize, people like that. So if it is same, it will throw as duplicate. Then we have to apply different parameters like age, address, father's name, husband's name. This number comes down. Then we zero in on very few names which are duplicate, like 20, 25. Then we go house to house, verify, and ask that voter who has been registered somewhere else and not got his name deleted at the earlier place. We ask him, please tell us where do you want to keep your name, because all other names we will delete. After that verification, remaining names are also deleted.
Okay. So how do you feel about this move by political parties and the Congress to go to court at every stage? In the last 1 year, we have seen the Congress moving courts over VVPAT machines, moving court when they say that they want free and fair elections, then also about the voting process, voter lists. Does this really make things difficult for the Election Commission?
Election Commission has to take all steps to satisfy all its stakeholders, because our stakeholders, mainly political parties, candidates, they must have full faith in the Commission and in all the technology, equipment, everything of poll process. And therefore, Commission takes pains to satisfy them on all counts. Even after doing this, if there are recourses to courts, we have to defend in the courts also.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of time, because there is very small staff in the Election Commission, just about 450 people. And we have to prepare, we have to audit, we have to deploy people all over the country for general election.
Does
So
it affect your working, sir? Is it a
it-
burden, so much of litigation?
It definitely causes a little dislocation in certain things which are time bound. Like this 27 September publication is time bound. But these states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, were busy in handling this subject. And therefore, what we are doing, I am ringing up personally. Every collector, every ERO, tell us, where do you reach now? Whether you have completed the image PDF, whether you have done this, whether you are lagging behind. All those things we have to monitor, so that we are sure that on 27 September they will publish. Commission is also reviewing tomorrow.
You know, talking about VVPATs, there has been so much said about VVPAT machines. The Congress, the opposition has gone to court saying that these can be tampered with. If you press a button, a vote will go for a political party only. How do you respond to these allegations?
These allegations are totally unfounded. Our machines are standalone, cannot be tempered, cannot be manipulated in any manner. Our administrative and security regime, the instructions, how to transport these, how to store these, at every stage involving political parties and their representative, allowing them to put their own seal on the lock, opening the strong room in their presence, doing the mock poll in their presence. Everything is done in their presence. With this kind of regime, it's impossible to temper any of our machines.
But you know, Mr. Rawat, the question that I'd like to ask you, so many political parties have held press conferences where they get EVM machines from somewhere, they display it, and then they tell you how it can be hacked.
When we put our EVMs for challenge, inviting all parties to do anything, nobody came. 2 parties came, but they also came not to meet the challenge, but to learn more about EVMs. Second is, we are putting our machines in all public places in poll-going states for awareness. If any hacker or any party has any confidence of hacking or doing anything, why can't they succeed? None of them. In Karnataka, we put our machines in art gallery, in malls, everywhere, and conducted polls and counted in front of people. Everywhere it matched. Everywhere there was no discrepancy. And IT hub is our Bangalore city, where you can get even ethical hackers. Nothing could happen.
So you think this is a political ploy? This is a political ploy in order to divert attention, or probably also hurt the image of the Election Commission, sir?
There I won't comment, because as I said earlier, it is our duty, our responsibility to satisfy all our stakeholders. Even if slightest doubt they have, we will try and do everything to put that doubt to rest.
But otherwise, would you agree, and this is probably a statement that you had made earlier as well, that when the competition is stiff, these kind of allegations come up? Would you stand by that statement, sir?
That is what our experience has been. Like political leaders saying that it is EVM which will defeat us. And when they win the election, they come up with a different explanation. They say that we would have got more vote if EVM were not there. That is showing that it's not EVM's fault. It is something they doubt among themselves, that they are going to lose and EVM is to be blamed.
Convenient political ploy.
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you say that?
It appears that
It
way.
appears to be a convenient political ploy. Recently, there were many political parties who made presentation before you saying, let's go back to the paper ballot system. There are discrepancies in VVPATs and EVMs. We can't trust them, and therefore we have to go to the paper ballot system. What would that really lead us to? And is that even possible?
As far as possibility is concerned, Election Commission is tasked with conducting election, providing superintendent's direction and control, and Election Commission will do everything to do it. However, going back to a system which had so many ills, so many votes were invalidated. Indian voters were maligned that these people, 65 years after independence, have not learned how to vote. That kind of thing is really bad for us, embarrassing for us. Booth capturing, so rampant that candidates were not talking in terms of popular vote. They were talking how many booths you captured, and that used to decide the win. Those kind of things are things of the past because of advent of EVM. Because in EVM, you cannot do much even if you capture the booth, because it takes about 20 seconds for every vote. So if you have to cast 900 or 1,000 votes, you will have to stay there for 20,000 seconds. That means more than 5 hours. And in that time, information will go, enforcement will come, and you will be caught. Whereas in ballot, it can be done in just 20 minutes.
So this is literally, if we do what the political parties are saying, then it will be taking us back into history by at least 20 years?
Yeah, in the days of muscle power. Muscle power was rampant, and our laws made a provision that wherever booth capturing takes place, Commission can order repoll and countermand that election.
So by making all these allegations, sir, in the last couple of months, so close to the elections, voter discrepancies, VVPATs, EVMs, let's go back to the paper ballot system. What is this really doing to the Election Commission, sir? Does it hurt the morale of the staff? Does it burden the system?
No. Commission, I said that Commission's responsibility, solemn duty, is to address each and every doubt political parties, politicians have in their minds. And that is what we are doing. So there is absolutely no hassle for us.
There is no hassle.
No hassle for us.
But it's the people need to now understand, because at the end of the day, what one thinks of, and this comes to my mind as well, when you make so many allegations, eventually you'll put a doubt in the mind of the voter. Is that worrying? Actually,
Commission has enormous faith in the voters.
Yeah.
We have seen even illiterate labor class voter with strong common sense, even about abuse of money. I myself heard in one of the state polls, he was saying in his own dialect or language, which my driver interpreted to me, that why are you doing this? Do you think that if I get money, I vote for him? No. I'm getting from everyone, and I'm voting according to my choice to the best candidate. Now, this kind of a strong common sense, a voter who is illiterate, who is very poor, extremely poor, is having, I think we have come of age. In fact, our voters are really enlightened. So, Commission has an enormous faith in our voters.
All right. On that note, we take a short break here on CNBC TV 18, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll talk about electoral bonds. Remember, experts have been questioning this entire process, and also one nation, one polls, and whether this debate is going somewhere. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching our special and exclusive interview with Mr. Prakash Rawat, the Chief Election Commissioner. Mr. Rawat, we were talking about EVMs. You are saying that you have tremendous faith in the voter of this country. But how do you assure people and political parties that these EVMs are absolutely tamper-proof and you can't get them in a market like political parties always say so?
Because these are manufactured by Defense and Atomic Energy Public Sector Undertaking in very secured manufacturing facility. So this cannot go out. Number two, our administrative and security regime for these machines is so comprehensive that there is absolutely no possibility of this getting out of the system. And any machine which goes out of the system is written off and can never enter back, because it may have been modified, and therefore there are foolproof arrangements that this kind of machine doesn't get into our system back.
Right. And it's not locally available.
It is not locally available.
Yeah. Yes. Sir, I'd like to talk to you about electoral bonds. I think when this amendment was being debated, the Election Commission had given its views, saying that it's a retrograde step. Do you also feel worried that somehow this is an opaque process, blocks transparency in political funding?
Actually, not debated. When this finance bill was passed and electoral bonds were introduced through this finance bill, at that time, Commission expressed all its concerns comprehensively to the government that these are the concerns which need to be addressed before going in for rolling these bonds. At that point of time, government said that it is too premature because even the scheme is not finalized yet. It is only the legal amendment which has been made. So Commission felt, okay, then we will wait and we'll sort of revisit the whole issue after we have a scheme. It has been implemented and contribution reports from political parties have come to the Commission so that we can take a comprehensive view as to whether our concerns, which were flagged after the finance bill was passed in 17, are addressed comprehensively, partially, or not at all.
So you're reviewing them right now?
So we will be reviewing as soon as this 30th September is over, because this is the deadline for contributions report.
You know, but experts have been saying that donation by way of electoral bonds are not required to be disclosed to EC. Political parties not required to maintain a record. Now, isn't this worrying? And isn't this a way of probably channelizing a lot of black money into elections?
That is not possible because there is KYC. Anybody who is buying these bonds has to submit KYC documents, and it has to be through check or electronic fund transfer. So black money, I don't think, can enter through electoral bond route. But whatever concerns we had at the outset, we had flagged at the beginning itself. Right now is the time to see, after formulation of a scheme, implementation of 4 tranches, and contribution report, whether those concerns have been addressed at all or not.
And you will be reviewing the contributions and seeing if there is some sort of lack of transparency.
Certainly, Commission will make the point, and we will take a call very shortly because now 30th September is approaching. We will be reviewing in sometime in October and flagging the issues.
Okay, you know, I think 24 hours back, sir, the Election Commission told the Supreme Court that laudatory news articles by which a political leader appeals for votes in his favor by boasting of his record and achievements should be treated as paid news. Now, that's a very, very important statement. Do you think this should be a warning to both the media and political players?
Right now, I would not like to comment on this because Honorable Delhi High Court have passed an order on paid news, and that order stands, and therefore it is binding on us. We will not go into this. However, Commission has gone to Supreme Court with an SLP. In case we get a stay from Honorable Supreme Court, we will be able to talk about it in detail.
But paid news is something that you'll be cracking down very seriously in the upcoming elections.
As soon as the legal dispensation is available to us.
Yeah. Talking about the menace of fake news, sir, how serious is it, and how are you going to tackle this in the upcoming elections?
It is quite serious, and Commission has already taken steps to talk to most of the social media platforms, get their commitments that during the poll process they will ensure that this kind of material is deleted from their platforms after the fact checking and all those things. And in the last 48 hours before the conclusion of the poll, they will not allow any material at all on their platforms. And they have very, very willingly agreed to that. And in fact, we feel that in Karnataka election, whatever steps they took proved very effective.
Lessons from Cambridge Analytica and the data harvesting scandal?
Yeah, that also we were worried in the aftermath of expose, and Commission took a call on all these aspects, and we took steps for cyber security, protecting our data, and bringing in consciousness on cyber security among all our employees, right down to the CEO and district election officer level. And that is paying us rich dividends, that our data is secure and not much of harvesting could take place during that vulnerability period.
You know, talking about black money in elections, the Election Commission has been cracking down on the flow of black money in every election, but again, we see a larger and larger amount of black money being used in every election. Would you say that the current set of laws that we have are inadequate to deal with the problem of black money during elections?
Yeah, we have a feeling that certain provisions in laws are necessary to comprehensively check the use of black money in elections. And suggestions were made to the government, and we hope that things will improve. Second thing is about political parties' expenditure, a ceiling on that. In all party meeting which was held recently, most of the parties came up with that idea that there should be a ceiling on political parties' expenditure also. That will also be examined, and then we will send a proposal to the government for taking action on that. With all those legal provisions, it will make a difference.
It will make a difference. Yeah. One nation, one poll. It has been debated a lot. The Law Commission had put out a draft paper with statements of all political parties. There were a large number of parties who were also in favor of one nation, one poll, many who questioned it as well. What do you feel about that exercise currently?
Actually, as far as the concept
Are we even close to it?
As far as concept is concerned, we have been holding one nation, one poll till 67. 52, 57, 62, 67. All these elections were one nation, one poll. After that, most of the states went out of sync, and therefore the elections were scattered. As of now, Commission also suggested in 2015 that in case we want to go back to one nation, one poll, we will have to need certain amendments in the Constitution and certain amendments in the Representation of People Act. Once those amendments are in place, that means legal framework is in place, then certain logistic requirement like machines, number of machines required will be double. Whatever is now available will be double. Second thing is central paramilitary force, because wherever we go in any state, everywhere parties demand that local police is in the influence of the incumbent ruling party, and we want that every polling station is manned by the central paramilitary force. So even paramilitary force will be required in large number, because you have to have simultaneously. And third will be polling personnel and vehicles. So all those logistic arrangements can be arranged once legal framework is in place, and that won't take much of time.
Will it be better for the country, sir, to have one nation, one poll? Will it reduce burden on the administration, on the security setup? Because we're always in election mode, if you agree.
Yes, as a subjective impression, because no empirical study has been made as yet, but it appears that in case once the elections are held and after that you are free, that would certainly benefit the administration. Political parties will not be continuously in a fighting mode. They will not be fighting continuously, and then incumbent government will get time to work, to deliver administratively. But it requires an empirical study as to what will be the saving in terms of money, what will be the saving in terms of administrative and social benefits, what will be the impact on other aspects of political life.
5 state elections right now, this year. You have another 4 states going to elections next year, along with the big general election.
Yes.
Technically, is it possible to club all of them together?
No. Because so long as present legal framework is there, Election Commission is bound to conduct these elections and deliver a new house before the term expires of the present house. And since this term is ending on 15th of December, Commission started preparing in July and will deliver new houses to all these 5 states before that date.
So no change for this year at all?
Because law is not changed, and we are driven by the law. We are created by Constitution to deliver a new house wherever the term is ending.
What about 2019? What about the 4 states and the general election?
That will be held on time as per the existing law. I can tell that.
And they're all likely to happen together?
They were happening together, and therefore they will happen together as per the existing law.
But finally, would you admit that it would require huge political consensus as well? Consensus among all political parties to have one nation, one poll?
Amendment to the Constitution will also require that kind of support, and therefore any such radical change in the polling process will require most of the parties on board, and that will be better for the country also.
Right. And finally, people should start thinking about it seriously if we have to improve governance.
That debate is going on, and it's a healthy debate, so let us hope that something positive will come out of it.
Thank you very much for speaking to CNBC TV 18, sir.
Thank you.
So that was Mr. Om Prakash Rawat, the Chief Election Commissioner, telling us that EVMs, VVPATs cannot be tampered with. One nation, one poll is a necessity. It will reduce the burden on the administration, on security forces, and improve governance as well. He hopes that this debate continues in a positive direction. Thanks for watching.